Big delays eastbound I-4 approaching Fairbanks Avenue. An accident blocking the right lane of traffic causing these backups. You also want to look out for a crash westbound on the 408 at the John Young Parkway near the entrance ramp that may slow you down. Slow traffic eastbound on the 408 between Tampa Avenue and I-4. You want to look out for a wreck John Young Parkway at the Beach Line and University Boulevard just west of Rouse Road, a reported crash. If you see traffic problems, call the Safe Touch Security Tip Line, 866-676-8477. From the Traffic Center, I'm Catherine Davis.
Welcome to Late Night Parents. I'm your host, Ted Hicks. We have a weekly podcast where we sit down and talk with game changers in the sports, technology, education fields. We even do product reviews and giveaways. Why, you ask? Because we're all parents. So if you're ready for an up-close and personal look, then you can check out our podcast. New episodes are available every Thursday. Catch us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. That's Late Night Parents. The site is latenightparents.com.
Broadcasting live from the Victory Casino Cruises studio, this is Orlando's sports leader, 740 The Game, an iHeart radio station.
Welcome to Late Night Parents. I'm your host, Ted Hicks. We have a weekly podcast where we sit down and talk with game changers in the sports, technology, education fields. We even do product reviews and giveaways. Why, you ask? Because we're all parents. So if you're ready for an up-close and personal look, then you can check out our podcast. New episodes are available every Thursday. Catch us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. That's Late Night Parents. The site is latenightparents.com.
The Open Mic with Mike Bianchi.
Most coaches who are 0-3 and desperately need a win would have maybe overlooked a failed marijuana drug test, perhaps, sort of swept it under the rug if it involved one of their star players. Oh, I've always admired O'Leary because he does not sell his soul.
Mike Bianchi, weekday mornings at 6 on 740 The Game. Somebody has to wake up that early.
Any Napa guy knows, and science proves, the best minivan is the one you've already got. Park Kid Transporter, Park Drywall Mover. Who cares if the faux wood grain is a little faded? That was a platinum package option in 1987. With over 400,000 parts and a little Napa know-how, you can keep anything on the road. Because it's not old, it's vintage. That's Napa know-how.
Hey fans, this is Eric Kohler, stadium voice of UCF football. We invite you to tune in to EK Sports every Saturday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. as we feature the preferred picks of the week, insured by our good friends at Preferred Benefits Consultants, where it's always fun to pick those games of the week, but never a time to gamble with your health care. Find a Preferred Benefits Consultant at OrlandoHealthExchange.com. That's the letter X, OrlandoHealthExchange.com, and start saving today.
When we built ForThePeople.com, it was designed to be your consumer website, a place to go to learn about your legal rights. It was also built to protect you before an accident occurs. One of the most helpful parts of our site is warnings about unsafe drugs, products, and medical devices. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Right now, we're investigating and in some cases actually litigating cases involving some of these drugs you may be currently taking or have taken in the past, and likewise certain medical devices. I invite you to visit ForThePeople.com now and from time to time to educate yourself and hopefully protect you and your family. This site was built for you, the consumer. And remember this, I'm not just a lawyer, I'm your lawyer. Morgan & Morgan, for the people. Offices, Orlando.
Are you looking for your dream home? Or are you looking to move out of your current home and find the home to start the next chapter of your life? Look no further. Jim Fouquet with Century 21 Rue Realty is your go-to guy to help you with all your needs. Specializing in West Orange County, Lake County, and Ocoee, his goal is to take care of you from the beginning to the end and is not satisfied until the job is complete. Stop by 401 West Colonial Drive, Suite 7, or give him a call, 321-945-6832. Jim Fouquet with Century 21 Rue Realty.
Tweet us. Stay in the game on Twitter at 740 The Game.
Here we go, yo. One time for your mind. We ball all day. Just know we talk ball all day. Welcome to the full court press. Full court press. We got Danny Thompson on the mic, so just chill with the set. Ball all day. Just know we talk ball all day. Welcome to the full court press. Full court press. We got Danny Thompson on the mic. So
we are back. Hour number 2 of Full Court Press Radio, sponsored by SOFOELC. 407-916-8255 or toll free 800-729-8255. I am here with my team of guys tonight: Paul Myers, Mark Johnson, and Zach Oliver of Orlando Pinstripe Post. And for this segment here, for the next 15 or so minutes, we are talking about the hometown Orlando Magic. The Magic are a team under so much transition right now. You know, there's so many different things going on. Brand new head coach, and Zach and I were at Media Day on Friday, so we had a chance to talk to a lot of the players, coaches, Rob Hennigan, and everybody else, you know, that is involved with the organization. So, you know, the Magic, Zach, you know, you've covered the team for the last couple of years. The Magic have been a team that has went from the Dwight Howard era down to now a team that is somewhere in flux. So what was your biggest story, or the biggest take that you had coming out of Media Day?
I mean, the thing coming out of Media Day was the fact that, you know, they're really hell-bent on, you know, getting that identity that they needed. That's what's held them back the last couple of years. They haven't had an identity, and, you know, the coaching's been the issue that's really held them back, because they've got a lot of, you know, nice, young, talented players who can go out there and win games, which they've shown. But, you know, I think Scott Skiles can come in, going to make them a good defensive team. They're going to play with a little bit of pace, which we saw them do that a couple times last year against Houston and Chicago in about the middle of January, and they look like a completely different team. And then for the rest of the season, it was just pound the ball into the ground. Come on, like, run something. They didn't run any secondary sets in their offense. You know, the thing that kind of screwed them with that coaching staff was they brought in all guys that were development coaches. So they didn't have an X's and O guy that could come in and help Jacques Vaughn. And I think in the end, that's part of the reason that Vaughn ended up getting fired. You know, obviously the fact that they weren't making any strides is important. You know, I mean, they finished, I believe, 25th or so defensively last year. Yep, 25th, 105.2 points per 100 possessions, and their offense was equally as bad. You know, sure, that was with half a season of James Borrego coaching, but, you know, what? You go from one person to another who's doing the same thing.
Right. I would say, yeah, equally as novice, you know, in the profession.
Exactly. I mean, you know, you go from Jacques Vaughn, in my opinion, the team kind of like tuned him out at one point in time, and then you go Borrego, a player's coach. The players loved him, and now you bring in Scott Skiles, which is completely different. You know, and you can tell by the vibe of the players. You know, they had no idea what to expect. The only person on the roster who actually has played for Skiles is Tobias Harris. And for me, the one question I wanted to ask Tobias, and Zach, I'm going to get you and Mark and Paul's opinion on this one, is that Harris was in Milwaukee when Skiles was there last time around and wanted out because he could not get off the bench. He was buried so deep in Milwaukee. Mark, I'm going to start with you first on this one. You know, do you think that maybe some time has passed on and this is going to work better, or do you think this could be another volatile situation?
No, I think some time has passed on. I think it will work better. Harris has gotten better as a player, you know, so I think he'll be okay there. With Harris, it's kind of like, you know, when you're coming in, you know, you're a rookie, you don't really understand, you know, the level of defense that Skiles wants. And Skiles, kind of like, you know, former coach Tom Thibodeau, right? If you can't play defense, you cannot get on the floor. It does not matter if you're a wonderful offensive player. If you cannot do the principal things on defense, you will not play. And I think Harris probably has a better understanding of that. He's gotten paid, you know, because he has played well, and I think he's going to play pretty well for Skiles this time around.
Exactly. Zach, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, here's another thing with that, too, is the fact that Tobias was hurt. So, you know, that kind of held him back a little bit that rookie season, and it hurt his ability to get onto the floor. But I think it's going to be better because Tobias is a lot more. He's seasoned now, and he's going to be a really important player for this team, and he's going to play. And that was one of the things that was talked about during media day is this is a no nonsense kind of guy. He's going to go out there and Skiles is going to coach him up. If you're not playing defense, you're going to sit down, no matter who you are. If you're Victor Oladipo and you're not playing defense, all right, take a seat. Give Mario Hezonja a chance,
And I'm glad you brought up Hezonja because that was actually going to be my question for you. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it to media day. What was your take on Hezonja when you were there? And I know you cover the Magic, extensively. What was your feeling on that pick in general?
I thought it was a good pick for the team because they need what he brings. They need that shooting, and his athleticism fits perfectly into this team. They're going to be able to run with him, and he's going to fit really well. How is he going to transition to the NBA game? He was asked about it during Summer League, and he said it's just a completely different game. He was asked about it the other day. It's the same answer. He even said he went as far as saying it was a completely different sport. Mm-hmm. So that's saying a lot about the transition that he's going to have to take. And look, I like Mario. Mario's a great guy. The one thing I worry about with him on the court is he has a tendency to be a little cocky, which I think could come back to bite him at times because if you have to guard a guy like maybe a Matt Barnes, Matt Barnes ain't going to put up with anything.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So you're going to have to go out there and score on one of the best defenders in the league and deal with his trash talk, like
his physical play.
His physical play, his trash talk. Is Mario going to want to retaliate and then get himself in trouble? Okay. It's stuff like that. It's small things with him and, the grind of playing 82 games. Because, he
question the mental toughness of him then a little bit? Or
I don't question the mental toughness because I think his head's there.
Right.
It's just, a matter of if he needs to stay level-headed to a point but still have that confidence is what I think is the big thing for him.
For me, and my impressions of him is that he's still a kid. He's like, I think 18 or 19 years old.
20.
20. But the thing is, he holds himself up very well. He speaks very well. He's not going to have a language issue problem. Evan Fournier mentioned that, when he came into the league, he had issues with the language. He already has the language down. He speaks it very well. He is very confident and very cocky. He says he wants to be as good as Kobe Bryant. That's a good thing because you have a guy that actually wants to do this. He has a passion for this. Now, for me, the fit is the problem. Because of the fact of Evan Fournier does a lot of the same things that Mario does, and for me, the biggest problem in Orlando is there's not a rim protector. Outside of Dwayne Dedmon, there's not really much to protect the rim. I'm not big on Vucevic being a defensive shot blocker. Right. I mean, he's decent at best, but you don't have that presence and that guy to say, hey, I'm going to shove it down your throat, and if you come in the lane, you're going to pay for it. That's why, for me, I would have rather seen Willie Cauley-Stein drafted here.
I was going to say, I see where you're going with this. You're going to go Willie Cauley-Stein. Now, how would that have fit next to Vooch, though?
It wouldn't.
Right, that's my point.
That was my thing going into the draft. I got asked this a million times when I was doing pre-draft stuff.
Right. Mm-hmm.
What do you think of Willie Cauley-Stein? Look, I think Cauley-Stein can be a really nice defensive player, and he's really versatile with
nice and Chandlerish, yeah.
Exactly. But he can't play next to Vucevic because that completely kills the floor spacing. They're going to just clog the paint. Then what are Oladipo and Elfrid Payton going to do?
Right, yeah, especially Payton. Payton, although I've heard he's worked on his jump shot, which is great, he is predominantly, someone who's going to drive to the basket. And if you have both Vooch and Willie Cauley-Stein down there, I mean, there's not going to be much room for you. So, Dan, I see where you're going, and I think I get it, but I don't think it would have worked.
Mark, help me out here. I mean, you do draft stuff all the time. It worked with Vooch and Cauley-Stein. I got to find somebody that's going to agree with this. So Mark, do you agree with me, or am I 0 for 3?
I would say offensively, no. It's impossible for it to work. I would, to be honest with you, if they didn't take Hezonja, I wouldn't have taken Willie Cauley-Stein. I would have taken Miles Turner, who went to the Pacers. He's more of a floor spacer, a guy who can shoot, and he can give you the same